Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review. And for the discussion of this video, I'm going to be doing another film from the celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. And if I have time, I'm getting into the sequel, which is the Cocoon movies. It's Cocoon, which of course was directed by Ron Howard. And this movie has a who's who of veteran actors in it. And of course, those of you who grew up during the 40s, 50s, and 60s who know just about almost every actor in this film. Uh, Especially, of course, those of you who grew up during the 80s who know almost all the actors in this film for various reasons. Of course, this movie stars uh, Brian Dennehy, uh, who, Don Amici, who actually won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for this film. You also had Gwen Vern, from Damn Yankees. You had Maureen Stapleton. You had Hume Cronin and his real life wife, who also played his wife in the movie, Jessica Tandy. You also have Steve Guttenberg. Now, of course, this movie, um, you can say it's a little bit dated because of the special effects, but you know because it does have 80s, this cheesy 80s special effects in it, and special effects were terrific for its time. But of course, in 2015, with all the CGI that's going on, and that's why every movie, you can see the special effects are terrible. For those of you who've never seen the movie before, but the special effects were damn good. Now, for those of you who don't know the movie, this movie is about. It takes place in Florida, in this retirement community, and of course, the main characters were Wilford Brimley, Hugh Cronin, and Don Amici. Those like three friends who live in this like in this retirement community. And not only is it a retirement community, it's more like an old folks home slash uh, duplex where they all live in. They all get like medications and stuff like that. And the three guys, they all are married or have a girlfriend. Well, the only one who wasn't, married out of the three guys was Don Amici's character, where he was hanging out Alex, the Gwen character. Anyway, what these three guys like to do is they like to go swimming in an abandoned house. Now, that's the one plot hole that you have in this movie, and this house is quote unquote abandoned because the former owners they don't live there anymore. The owners have died or something like that, and so this plot doesn't make any sense. How come the whole house is abandoned, but the pool is still operating? I mean, it's the pool is still full of water and chlorine and everything else. How come the pool is taken care of, and meanwhile the whole house is abandoned? How come we didn't empty the pool out? To me, that's the only real plot hole in this movie. But anyway, they break into this house and they go swimming all the time in this pool. Meanwhile, people who decided to rent the house out, and the leader of the group just happened to be Brian Dennehy. Of course, was famous for being in the most recently the first Rambo movie, First Blood, 3 years earlier. So you had him in the movie as the leader of these four people, including this really gorgeous woman and two other guys. Um, and they also, not only did they rent this house out, but they also hired Steve Guttenberg to charter his boat. So he tours, uh, these little boat tours. But they hired his boat to go out deep out into the water, and they paid him a whole bunch of money to do it. And the guy and Steve Guttenberg's character owns a boatload of money to gamblers or loan sharks or something. So so of course that he's going to accept job because that's where he needs the money. So they go out and they dive into the water, and they also rent out scuba equipment, and they go and they dive in these big uh, cocoons. Looks like giant boulders, really. And they go back to the house and they put these cocoons in the pool, and they use this device to recharge. And they hook this device to the pool to recharge the cocoons. Yeah, and you ask, well, why is that? Well, spoiler: these people were actually aliens, and what's in the cocoons are people that they left behind. Left behind on Earth, so they put them in these cocoons to preserve their lives, and they took years and years and years before they came back and was able to retrieve them. So to revive them, they had to put them in these cocoons and they put them in the pool, and to get the bodies restored. Well, what happened was, of course, the three guys, Don Amici, Wilford Brimley, and Hugh Cronin's characters go into the house after it's been rented out, and they knew it was rented out, but they found out they were observing the house. They go swimming, and they notice they leave, and so they go into the pool, and they notice that they had these boulders in there. And at first they were like kind of freaked out by it, and all of a sudden they decided to go swimming anyway. And these big boulders, so to me, if they see this, they will freak out and won't go in there. But they decided to go in it anyway, and their lives reboot as well. Or they reverse to younger. They act more like teenagers. Famous after they go swimming the first time, of course, they noticed that they were getting bonus. Imagine guys who are like in their 60s, I guess 70s, depending when they were like 60, 70-year-old guys talking about getting bonus. But which is kind of silly and ridiculous that these guys were getting bonus and they actually openly talking about it. Well, of course, what happens is, of course, everybody talks about how they are, getting excited, and of course, there's the most famous scene, or the funniest scene in the whole movie, when Hugh Cronin is lying in bed and he has his dick like 2 feet big underneath the blankets and everything. It looks like a pop tent. And of course, they got when I went to see this movie when it came out, they got like the biggest laugh in the film. That particular scene, because it's so funny that thing was, um, that particular scene was. So what happened? I said, hey, what's going on? And when they find, oh, we know what the hell is going on there when you're swimming? After you're swimming over there, look, we can't tell you. So what happened is one time they go swimming, and the three guys they all got caught by the aliens. They know the aliens rented this house out, and so the Wilford Brimley character saying this, so the whole thing was going on, and Brian Denny he says, look, we noticed that you guys come over. We find out that you guys came over here. He says, right. He said, look, okay. At first we were annoyed that you were swimming in our pool. We don't mind if you come over like once a week. Come over and swim in the pool. That's fine, as long as you don't tell anybody else what we're doing here, because we appreciate it. And Brandon he does tell us really a little bit what they were doing there. So everybody says, okay, we keep it a secret for what you're doing. Appreciate you being honest with me and being honest with you. And Brandon says, okay, appreciate what you're harmless. You don't mean it. You don't mean anything. You don't mean to be bad or anything else. You're not doing anything intentionally bringing harm. Just having harmless, swimming in this pool. So we're going to give you permission to come here, but once or twice. As long as you don't take advantage of us, we're going to let you be here like once or twice a week to swim in the pool, and As long as you don't tell anybody, we let you do it. And the movie says, okay, I tell my friends, as long as you don't tell anybody else. And meanwhile, all the people getting, the other people who are in this retirement community are getting suspicious of wondering what the hell is going on with these three guys. So you want, they wonder if there was some type of medication or anything else. So no, we can't tell you. And there was one guy who was a friend of theirs, who played by Jack Griffin, a great character actor who died like a few back in the mid '90s after the second movie came out. He said, "Why don't you come along with us, and maybe we bring Rose because we know how sick your wife is. Maybe she be in the pool, and you know, will help her health problems." And he keeps saying, "No, no, no! You guys are a bunch of jerks, and you're trespassing." Yeah, but we got permission to go. Now, I said, I don't care, you guys are trespassing, all that stuff. And they got in a big huff. And eventually the word got out to everyone else. And they all jammed in the pool. Everybody else is in there. And there was like two guys who took one of the cocoons and were banging up against the edge of the pool. And that's when Brian Denny comes uh, back for getting more cocoons or whatever else he was doing. He quietly says, "Get your hands off that cocoon." And really yelled at him, and they found out that now the pool won't, because they overdid, or all these other people overdid. Now they can't revitalize the people or the aliens that were in these cocoons, because now the pool will no longer work. And of course, the saddest part of the whole movie is when the Jack Griffin character, which I just mentioned, his wife was dead, and he figures that get into the pool, maybe we'll help her, and she won't be dead anymore. Well, guess what? The pool will. He's there with the wife, and they're in the pool, and here comes the Brian Dennehy character. Hello, well, who are you? You your friend, right? And he says, and he knew who he was, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but the pool is no longer working anymore. It's not working anymore. I'd like to help you, and I want to help you, but the pool is no longer working." Well, of course, is the saddest part of the whole thing. Well, one part that I kind of glossed over was because the three main characters, Wilfred Brimley and particularly the Hugh Corn character, went into the pool. He was actually diagnosed with cancer, and after he went a couple of times into this pool, his cancer was. He was in remission of the cancer. The cancer was like completely gone. It was like he never had it to begin with. Um, So I figured since I worked with the Whom Corn character will help with this other, the wife of the Jack uh, Griffiths character. But unfortunately, because of what happened, what I mentioned earlier, it didn't work. So what Wilford Brimley's character decides to do is say, "Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we take a bunch of we can take as many of your friends as possible, and we take it to our home planet, and you don't have to worry about getting older. You don't have to worry about getting about whatever illnesses that elderly people on your planet will suffer from. You don't worry about. Everything is going to be like you never get sick, and you're never going to die on our planet because you're going to live to forever, pretty much." And of course, the friends are saying, "Hey, this guy didn't go," and then meanwhile, because they all left, the majority of the people left, except for the Jack Griffith characters, but the only one who actually stayed. Everyone else decided to leave. Um, People chased him down, but it was too little, too late, and they went into the spaceship, and did have like a funeral service for him in the end of the movie. But I did forget one subplot in this film. You had uh, the Steve Guttenberg character actually had a love affair with the female alien in this film. And he did have this one particular scene in the pool where they actually have alien sex. Steve Guttenberg actually got freaky deaky with alien sex. And that was a pretty humorous, even though it was a sex scene, it was a pretty humorous one. Which You don't really get that many humorous love scenes in films. Well, like I said, this film got huge raves. Fortunately, I think the only awards. I'm not sure if it got the award for best for the special effects, but it definitely did get the Tanamichi won the Academy Award for best supporting actor in this film. And I think a lot of the veteran actors who were in this film got the Academy Award for best actors, or at least supporting actor nominations, but only Tanamichi won. Like I said, a few years later, I think about 1990 or 91, there was a sequel that came out called Cocoon: The Return, and it pretty much brought back the majority of the characters back. I think except for the one who played the female alien, I think that they got a different actress to play the part in the sequel. The sequel was not as good as the original movie. It was boring. Because at least the original movie it was a visual idea, it was a good story, and it was also directed by Ron Howard. I don't think Ron Howard came back to direct. I don't remember him coming back and directing the second film. He did the original film, but not the second one. Pretty much all the actors came back for the second movie, and they all came back. As a matter of fact, the one whom Cronin's character, who was originally diagnosed with cancer in the first movie, in the second movie, as soon as they came back to Earth, he developed the cancer again, and that character actually dies during the movie. No spoiler. But the reason why the majority of the storyline in this particular film is that one of the aliens was in the cocoons, uh, was found alive, was revitalized in there, like, kind of like an Area 51 deal, and he was revitalized. So they realized, or these aliens realized that this alien was revitalized, and they got some kind of signal or something, and they came back to Earth to see what they could do, and they, of course, big surprise, they got the alien back, and they went back to space to the planet at the end of the movie. So did all the other elderly citizens came back. I think also Steve. I'm not 100% sure because it's been a long time since I've seen the second movie. As well as that, it's been a long time since I've seen the first movie as well. Uh, I think he also went with the aliens at the end of the movie. I'm not 100% sure on that. Because I don't remember. Because the second one was so bad, I mean, because it was boring as hell. I even fell asleep in that movie. That's how bad the second movie was, and how boring the second film was. But the first film, I still like to this day, even though it does have kind of a sad ending to it. But it does work well. The whole film worked well for me, from my point of view. So that's my review of the. Even though I didn't go into much detail in the second movie, because like I said before, the movie was boring. It was not as good as the first one. It was not as original as the first Cocoon movie was. But I still enjoy, the Cocoon movies. So that's a review of the Cocoon movies. Please click on the video. Please rate it. Feel free to comment on. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And also, please, you can also check out all of my videos, and not only on my YouTube channel, you also go to rallyc.com. That's ORWDY, C.com. You can check out some of my earlier videos on his website, plus as well as Christy Moore, the Rally Reviewer. You can check out his content, plus all the other contributors to his website as well. And also, I would like to dedicate this video to Yvonne Craig, who was the original Batgirl of the 1960s television show, who just died the day before posting this video, and she passed away at the age of 78 from cancer. Uh, and so I'm dedicating this video, to Yvonne Craig. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.